Hello, today in this video we're going to focus on the book Creative Confidence that was written by authors David and Tom Kelley. The authors David and Tom Kelley are actually brothers. David is the founder of IDEO, which is a design consulting company specializing in product development and innovation, and he has committed his life to helping others realize the creative potential inside of them. And Tom is the general manager of IDEO. I want you to ask yourself, would you consider yourself creative? If not, that is okay, because so many of us lack the courage to pursue new skills or ideas. However, as the book stated, just by taking action, you are better off than 99% of people today. So what is creative confidence? Authors Tom and David Kelley define it as believing in your ability to create change in the world around you. This self-assurance lies at the heart of innovation. With creative confidence comes the freedom and courage of an individual to fail and take risks, and knowing that not all their ideas are going to be a good one and have some type of value to them. In the book, they talked about legendary psychologist and Stanford professor Albert Bandura. He has shown that our belief systems affect our actions, goals, and perceptions. Individuals who come to believe that they can affect change are more likely to accomplish what they are set out to do. Another quote that was focused on in the book that I think is very important states, "Creativity isn't some rare gift to be enjoyed by the lucky few. It's a natural part of human thinking and behavior. In so many of us, it gets blocked, but it can be unblocked. And unblocking that creative spark can have far-reaching implications for yourself, your organization, and your community." As individuals, we need to have an abundance mentality with our ideas. What I mean by this is that we need to have a growth state of mind to help us create innovation and to be open to new ideas. However, with creative confidence, we need to overcome fear and failure, otherwise it's going to really affect us hard. A quote stated in the book says, "When ideas are short in supply, it's tempting to become possessive or territorial and limit your options. If you only have a few ideas in your bank, you're more likely to settle on one of the few you have and defend it fiercely, even if it's not optimal. But when ideas are plentiful and easy, then there's no need to become territorial about them. And if an idea you have gets blended with others, it's not a problem. The whole group gets credit." As individuals, we think that failure is bad. However, we really need to give ourselves the permission to fail, because failure is not bad, but rather we learn the good from it as individuals. As David and Tom stated, early failure can be crucial to success in innovation. The faster we find our weaknesses during the innovation cycle, the faster we can improve on what needs fixing. A quote from the book states, "The surprising, compelling mathematics of innovation. If you want more success, you have to be prepared to shrug off more failure." An example that the Kelley brothers focused on was Thomas Edison, and there was a quote that said, "The real measure of success is the number of experiments that can be crowded into 24 hours. Thomas Edison is one of the most famous and prolific inventors in history, as he has failure baked into his creative processes. Edison knew that a project ending in failure is not a failed experiment, but rather a constructive learning is gained from the failure. The fear of failure is still one of the biggest obstacles people face to creative success today. As individuals, in order for us to overcome fear, we need to work hard at failing. Yes, that may sound silly, but we need to give ourselves permission to fail, as it will only allow us to be more creative and innovative in the work that we do. Each individual has a creative spark inside of them. We just need to figure out how to cultivate that creative spark. The creative spark needed to come up with new ideas and solutions is something we as individuals need to cultivate ourselves. And one way to increase that is the inspiration we encounter in our daily lives. The quote in the book said, "Choose creativity. To be more creative, the first step is to decide what you want to make happen. It is ultimately your individual choice at the end of the day." As individuals, we compare ourselves to others and what they have done and say, "I could never do that." However, we are capable of being creative, just like the others we see. It might be in our own and different, unique way, as that is how individuals are born to be. An example in the book was psychologist Robert Sternberg, who did a study that showed all creative people have one thing in common, And the result he found from that is that each individual decided to be creative. He found also that creative people tend to have 5 traits. First, they tend to redefine problems in new ways in order to seek out new solutions. 2, they take sensible risks and accept failure as part of the process. 3, they confront obstacles that arise when challenging the status quo. 4, they tolerate ambiguity when they are not certain that they are on the right path. 5, they continue to grow intellectually rather than let their skills or knowledge stagnate. So, being creative doesn't mean starting from scratch or being the sole originator. It's about adding what you can, about making a creative contribution. In the book Creative Confidence, they focus on fears, as that is what individuals tend to have and what shies them away from using the creativeness that they have inside of them. The 4 factors that I'm going to focus on here are the fear of being judged, the fear of the first step, the fear of losing control, and the fear of failure. So to focus on the fear of being judged, we are taught at a young age of having the fear of being judged. However, to overcome the battle, we need to resist in judging ourselves so we are then able to listen to our own intuition. Due to judgment, we tend to label ourselves as non-creative. Therefore, to overcome this, rather than keeping all your thoughts in your brain, write them down in a notebook. Or 2, try to use a new language when we give feedback to others to provide encouragement. Rather than saying, that will never work, maybe address it as, this is just my opinion, I want to help. Next, the fear of the first step. As individuals, whenever we attempt any work, we tend to look at the big picture and the end results. However, we really need to take a step back and start with the little information and gradually work our way to get to that big picture. So take little steps. It's what we call the first step. The fear of losing control. Having creative confidence does that not mean that our ideas are always good, but rather having the courage to let go of ideas that are not working and accept ideas from other people can really help us gain ideas where we're lacking. This may be tough for some individuals. However, when you work with others, you collaborate with them and you come up with brilliant ideas that you may never have thought of yourself. And the fear of failure. As stated in the book, it says, the fear of failure leads to the fear of experimentation. The worry that a new idea might not live up to its promise may result in the idea never being born. Therefore, we need to express all of our ideas when we are in a group or working alone, because you never know what the potential of it might be. And if you do not express it, that's what this quote is saying. It's saying that this is going to be the end result if we don't express it. Nobody's ever going to know about your idea besides yourself. So how does creative confidence even relate to organizational behavior? 3 points I want to focus on that I think really embrace how the two relate. 1, we need to promote creativity in the workplace. By promoting creativity in the workplace, it gives all employees a feeling of freedom and independence, rather than having them to always have to think in a straight line based on what the company or their boss wants. By incorporating creativity in the workplace, employees may present ideas that you as a manager may have never thought of, and it can really help the company to continue to become successful and find new ways to promote their ideas. 2, it allows groups to find the best decision and use their communication skills to interact with one another. And lastly, creativity promotes diversity amongst a group of individuals. Diversity in the workplace has become an essential component over the years. When you work in a diverse team or environment, you tend to produce more creative content than those from a similar background, because there are a bunch of you from diverse backgrounds that are all incorporating ideas that you have from maybe cultural background, experiences you have had in the past. So promoting the diversity is very important. In Creative Confidence, quotes were a big factor in the whole novel. So I wanted to focus on 4 quotes that really stood out to me and I think have an important meaning behind them that each individual should know. The first one states, "Do or do not, there is no try." This is what Yoda said to Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, and I think is a great quote for individuals to live by on a daily basis. It's basically saying we either attempt at doing something and use our creativity in the work, or we do not attempt at using creativity in our work. There is absolutely no try. So if we attempt at it and it does not go unplanned, we are not to worry about the fear, but rather we learn from our mistakes. 2. Failure sucks but instructs. Failure was a major component of this book because it is something that individuals tend to shy away from. So as stated before, individuals tend to think that failure is bad. However, as the quote states, it instructs. So next time we fail at something, we need to look at the positives and try and find out what went wrong and learn from it for the next time we attempt at the same thing. Third, if you want to make something great, you need to start making. If you as an individual want to achieve a goal, you need to act towards it on your own time. Instead of waiting for the perfect opportunity to come, move forward, even if you're optimistic about your ability, because you don't know what the potential of it might hold. And lastly, don't get ready, get started. Yes, the first step will be less intimidating if you take a tiny step and tell yourself to attempt at it right then and there before you allow your anxiety to build up and take over. So these 4 quotes really spoke to me as ways of how I can use my creativity and overcome fears that I might have and embrace it in the work that I do. And I hope these 4 also speak to you as an individual. So the last message that authors David and Tom gave to the readers of Creative Confidence stated, pick a first experiment or 2, knowing that not all of them will succeed. Start designing your new life. Through effort, practice, and continuous learning, you too can reimagine your life and career once you embrace creative confidence. The last message I just want to give all of you guys personally for myself is go out and be the creative individual you were born and capable of being. Do not let fear and failure get in the way of the ideas and your true potential that you have inside of yourself, as Creative Confidence really focused on that of how we need to overcome those. And there are ways to overcome them. If you don't know how to overcome it yourself, then get help, talk to somebody, because embrace the potential that is inside of you. It will really make a difference in the world for yourself and for others that are around you. I just want to say thank you all for watching.